YouTube, Awesome Rider here. Welcome to my review for the international airing of Power Rangers Dino Fury episode 12 called Super Hotshot. This episode does not help with me accidentally calling Javi Chase all the time, since we know there's only one true Hotshot. So this was kind of your run-of-the-mill standard Dino Fury episode. I still thought it was solid and enjoyable, but nothing too spectacular, a couple solid bits. This was one of those episodes where the filler plot was the A-plot, which is something I don't typically like. This is something that happened a lot in Dino Charge and Ninja Steel, where the Ranger stuff took a backseat to the filler plot, but this one didn't feel that bad. Like, I'm not that mad about it, it's just something I don't typically like, but I do like the bits of continuity in here. So effectively, the first thing we have going on, which is the A-plot, is that Izzy wants to join this new Super Hotshot gym with this super trainer lady that's supposed to be really good, and Zato joins her, and she really likes it, and then as soon as she has to sign up for it, because she has to, like, ask her dad about it because it's, like, really expensive, I guess, but as soon as she's ready to sign up for it, things seem a little bit sketch, and she's like, okay, well, not only do you have to sign up, but you gotta buy these uniforms. And then this one kid, the new Adrian kid, Aiden? I think it's Adrian, who's like this new reoccurring character, and he's like, well, I can't afford this, like, I only had enough money for the classes, and she's like, well, just give me your watch then. I'm like, way to be shady, and Zato and her kind of oversee this, and everything just seems super sketch, and then once we get to the actual classes, it doesn't seem like she knows what she's doing, like she forgets that you need to warm up, and so she has Izzy lead the warm-up because she probably doesn't know proper warm-up exercises, and it's just super fishy. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She goes around and tells everyone, remember, you're my #1 customer, and then she always shakes people down, because like after Izzy she rips her outfit during a Ranger battle, she's like, well, you can't have that shoulder rip, I gotta have you buying another outfit at full price, and she's just really not good at hiding it, which ultimately leads to Izzy confronting her when she goes to pay for the other outfit, and then she's like, oh yeah, that chump gave me his watch, want to join me and scam everyone in town? So the lesson here, guys, really is, if you're going to scam people, be better at it than this lady, because she's a terrible grifter who's just really obvious about her grift. On the one hand, I kind of like that the plot of this episode didn't have her at the end being like, I'm so sorry guys, I'm going to change my ways. Please don't have her come back and do that. I hated when they did that with Megan last year. It's like, that's a good lesson to learn. Some people are just awful. Let's not bring her back and redeem her in some way. But on the one hand, I'm glad they did that, but on the other hand, I'm like, they could have done with some subtlety. It would have been cliche if she, like, caught her on a phone call or talking to herself or something, but it would have been more believable than her just being so obvious about it. Like, what got me is, like, what did she do in that preview class that made it seem like the class was going to be so good that then she couldn't do a full class and she didn't know what she was doing? Like, she obviously had to know some stuff to fake a preview class. There's holes in her story. Bottom line is, that was like the main plot. And at the end of the episode, Izzy winds up outing her to everybody and telling the students like that she's scamming them. And Izzy ends up starting her own free class with everyone, which bleeds into the next episode. And then the B plot is the Ranger stuff, which is Slyther and Mucus basically hacking the Ranger hotline and putting this device on it, which effectively gives them full control over it. They can intercept calls, so when there's calls about sporks, they can get the sporks ahead of time. They can fake calls, and it's actually a really smart plan, and it's what we got the preview clip for when they fake a call from Izzy and Javi's dad and stuff like that. And again, smart plan. One thing I was disappointed in is, this is one of the first episodes we pick up after Slyther was thought to have been killed and Mucus saved him, and I honestly thought like Mucus and Slyther were going to have this thing going on the outside where they're working together without Void Knight, but they're immediately working with Void Knight. It leads to some kind of amusing antics later, but I liked the idea of some dissension in the ranks, and that's clearly not happening here. But regardless, this was a really smart villain plan, and that was one thing that bothered me. Not that it was smart, but that I think this could have been a cool plan to maybe continue for 2 or 3 episodes, and they're trying to figure out what's going on and actually have it keep going. But it was like such a smart plan to have as the afterthought of a filler episode. But still, clever thinking on their part, and then we get to see the Dino Daggers again, which I mentioned during the spoiler video. They use them, the exclusive Dino Daggers. It showed up in episode 1, they just released the toy, and they kind of use them to throw, like throwing stars or throwing knives at the phone thing to destroy it. And there was no Megazord battle, mainly because the Monster of the Week bleeds into next week's episode, and he becomes the Megazord battle for that, but I liked that. I sometimes like not having a Megazord battle, or having it out of sequence, just to leave things a little bit less predictable, so I enjoyed that. But that was effectively what went on. There wasn't any huge developments in terms of the plot, like, because the plot was just the villains being smart, and then a little bit of that monster's plot leads into next week, and the main focus was the Izzy stuff. One thing that does kind of lead into it is, like, Shellhead, or whatever its name is, uses, like, its fog ability on the Rangers, and that comes into play again next week, which is a nice bit of continuity. And, you know, as just an episode by itself, it was not really that great of a character-focused episode, but considering it does build off things previously and it's going to build off things into the next episode, I did appreciate that. Like, the Fern character who's in this episode and the next one, when we did the spoiler video, I forgot that she was in that running episode. I always forget about that episode. So I like that continuity, that she was already established, and then we established her here again, and then continue that in the next episode. And Adrian, I believe, is the first time we're seeing him. But I like that bit of continuity they're setting up as far as Izzy's character and her running this class, and I do appreciate that. And there's also a little bit of continuity, too, with some of the villain stuff going on as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I would overall give this one a 3. I think it was a solid Dino Fury episode, like I said. Nothing too special, you know, nothing too awful, just kind of your standard run-of-the-mill episode that I thought was enjoyable. But if you guys watched it, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, if you like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.